think to being in rhythm that you want to be?
Yeah, camp's been good. There's been some really good days, some days that I would like back. I feel really confident. I spent the off season, fixing some stuff and getting used to it. But with COVID, it was tough to get a live snap and hold and get some real ops and things like that. So just taking kind of the new kicking style or technique that I'm using and just kind of getting used to it with snap and hold, a line in front of you, lives. And so it's been good. I feel like I'm getting more and more comfortable every day.
What is the new technique that you're using?
Just shorten it up a little bit, simplify some things, less room for error. Some things that are more repeatable, more consistent that I can, draw on every day, rep after rep. And just getting more used to it, getting more and more confident each and every day.
Thanks.
Okay, next up is going to be Greg Allman.
Hey, Matt, I just want to ask you about the scrimmage the other day, getting to kind of test yourself out there in the stadium and how it felt to hit your kicks and kind of get over that hurdle, if you will.
Yeah, it was really good to be back in Raymond James. We've been over there a few times just kind of kicking on our own, but nothing like having all the boys there and, going live and being able to kick with everything, especially after that last game of the year. I've been itching to kind of get back in there and, get some kicks in there with a live game or scrimmage. And it was good to, see the ball go through the uprights. So it was good to, just be back there and hit them through.
Sure. Thank you.
Thanks, Rick.
All right, next is going to be Scott Reynolds.
Hey, Matt, they say you're only as good as your last kick in the NFL. And unfortunately, that last game, you go into that hitting around 85%, and then the 3 misses, you had to live with that the entire offseason. How did you tackle that mentally?
Oh, definitely it leaves a bad taste in your mouth. And, that feeling of just wanting to get back out there and get another one and put it through and was, you can't get that because it's the last game. And so just being able to take that and spin it and use it for motivation to, correct some things, get better, get stronger mentally. I know that last game was not a reflection of my talent or who I am. I felt like I was hitting the ball really well going into that game. And, just kind of use that this offseason as motivation to get in better shape, make sure that I can last the year, and those late games will, feel the same as those first few games. Just make sure your body's right.
Bruce Arians talked about that south end zone being a problem, not just for you, but also for kickers. What is it about that south end zone? Is it the swirling winds, the way the stadium's configured? And how have you and Chris Bonio attacked that in trying to master that so it becomes an advantage for you and maybe not for other kickers that visit Ray J?
Yeah, I think that end is open. And so sometimes the wind can swirl in and can do some different things. And sometimes you feel like it's going one way and the ball goes the other. And so, but I really think it's to the point now where it's just a mental thing. Like people go in, oh, this end zone's, it's more mental than it actually is what's going on with the wind or what's going on with anything. Because it's known around the league that end zone is what it is. And just being able to go in there and, hit a good ball. And if you're confident in your good ball, that ball will go through. So making sure you take your line, you trust the line that you take, and then just hitting a good solid ball. And I think that's the approach for me, not reading too much into what's going on there. Cause I think sometimes you can play mind games with yourself that can take you out and you're doubting the line you took and this and that. And so you can just trust in the line you take and then playing a good ball.
Thank you, Matt.
Thanks.
Okay. Next is going to be Jenna Lane.
Matt, along those lines, talking about the south end zone, at the end of the season, Coach Arians said he wanted you to get a lot of reps in that south end zone during the off season, but you couldn't really do that with COVID. Do you feel like throughout training camp and with scrimmages that you're going to be able, for your confidence level, to get enough reps in that spot to where you can go into the season feeling confident about things and not second guessing yourself?
Definitely. We've been over there kind of before camp actually started, when we were allowed to go on the field and kick. We were over there every opportunity we could get. And then we've been kicking a lot in camp here with the team. So we've been staying here, but just getting over there in the scrimmage and then went over there today. And, the more you get in there, the more you see it and the more kicks you can get, and it's just more beneficial. So, I feel like I'm hitting good balls, and if I can just trust myself and be confident with my ability and obviously the line that I'm taking and trust the approach and the process, that I'll be fine.
And you mentioned your body at the end of the season, trying to make it to where you feel like this season, the end of the season, you feel like you did at the beginning. Do you think that some of the challenges you ran into in that final game were physical, or do you think that they were more mental? Like, again, everybody talks about rookies making that jump and how it's such a long season because of all the off-season training that you're doing, getting ready, for the draft and things like that. Like, were there some physical issues that were going on there that you had to work past?
Not so much. It's definitely a long season. You come off a college season, then you go into all the draft prep, and you never really get, some time off to let your body rest. And so you're just kicking a lot. And then the NFL season's a lot longer than a college season. You throw the 4 preseason games in there, and that's 20 games off the bat. And that's, a lot of games. And just being able to find that extra gear mentally to fight off those things. The mind is a powerful weapon. So being able to access that part and be able to use that to push through some of the soreness, some of the tightness, the fatigue legs is every position in the NFL is mental, definitely a kicker. And so I think it's more a mental battle. But definitely, there's some challenges there. So it's just kind of getting that rookie year under your belt and learning from mistakes and learning from good things and being able to take that into year 2.
All right, we have time for 2 more. We're going to go with Greg Allman, followed by Rick Stroud.
Hey, Matt, just the competition aspect of this end of camp. Obviously, you've had Elliott here in camp pushing you. Now it looks like they'll at least have some guys in for workouts this week.
Mm-hmm.
I just want you how much you kind of embrace that as part of the job and how much that competition pushes you here in the last week of camp.
Yeah, competition is, that's just the baseline of the NFL. Everybody's fighting for a job. If you don't perform, someone's right there behind you ready to take your spot. And so, it's no news to me that, guys are in here competing for a shot and that they're going to bring competition in because competition is going to breed success. And, I think the potential of our team this year is super high. And I think the kicking position is very important. And so I think obviously they're going to look for, who they can feel confident going into the season with. And, if I come in and do my thing and do my part, I feel confident myself and take care of, what I'm doing, that'll be me going into the season.
All right, our last question comes from Rick Stroud.
Matt Bruce-Arians said that he wants the kicker that's going to, be consistent, obviously, and especially with the gimmies, right? The kicks that are, 30 inside of 30 inside of 40, I would suppose. Is there a different in the way you approach those? You've known to have such a powerful leg, and your range is already been demonstrated. But is there a different way or a different approach to taking the shorter field goals?
No, and definitely there shouldn't be. Every kick should be the same. Keith Armstrong, our special teams coach, he kind of, he puts that on repeat in your head. Every single kick should be the same, whether it's a PAT in the first quarter or a 56-yard game winner. You should take that the same approach. And that's something I really tried to apply this offseason, is making sure that a lot of those changes I made technique-wise, that kick is able to be repeatable. You don't get into certain things and it's able to control what you do in those moments and even on the shorter ones. And so, I'm confident with my leg strength that even with, being backed up, I have the distance. Just being able to control my body, control the technique was a big emphasis for me this offseason. And so just those short ones, just making sure that you bang through, put them through the uprights, because those are, the ones you should make. And last year I kind of fell into making the ones that were long, and I missed a few short ones. And so just making sure that kick is repeatable.
Thanks, man.
Awesome. That's all for today. Thanks, Matt.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
We're going to have Scotty Miller joining us shortly.